York. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
So Vic Mensa was catching a lot of heat over the last few days. Fans of the late XXXTentacion were really upset because they're saying that Vic Mensa took a shot at XXXTentacion at the BET Hip Hop Awards.
Vic Mensa did take a shot.
Yes.
In a freestyle.
We don't know
In
what
a
the shot,
cypher.
we don't know what the shot was yet.
We don't, because a lot of this was pre-recorded. Now, the BET Hip Hop Awards will air October 16th. But here is Vic Mensa's response.
Recently, I did a freestyle for the BET Awards cypher addressing and condemning rappers who unabashedly abuse women and those who stand up for them and even call them legends. I stand behind those statements. It was pre-recorded weeks ago, and I had no idea a grieving mother would be in the audience to honor her lost son. I never intended to disrespect her, and I offer my deepest condolences for her loss at the hands of gun violence. However, I vehemently reject the trend in hip-hop of championing abusers, and I will not hold my tongue about it. I don't give a about getting attention. I care about bringing awareness.
Salute to Vic Mensa. Round of applause for that. I love every piece of that. And yeah, I'm biased because Vic Mensa is somebody I consider a young artist and a friend in this game who has been outspoken, who is musically dope. His rhymes are dope, and he actually does actions in Chicago to help young people and in the neighborhoods he come from. Has he made mistakes in his past? I'm sure he has. Right? How old is Vic? 23, 24? What is he?
I think 24, 25, yeah.
Something like that. So I'm sure he has. But I respect and appreciate that. Y'all know how I felt about the XXXTentacion guy. I think he's a talented music artist. His album was great. I think he wins an award at the BET Hip Hop Awards coming up, right? But this whole notion that the guy that was making music about guns and violence and pills, and as well as dealing with his depression and whatever circumstances he's come from and things that he dealt with. The fact that he was dealing with that in his music and y'all have a problem with somebody else calling him to task, I have a problem with all of that.
I think people were also coming at him, too, because he rapped about choking his girlfriend on a song. There's a lot going on, so they were calling Vic Mensa a hypocrite.
Yeah, I'm sure he made mistakes in his past. And maybe that's why he's so passionate about it. Because he doesn't like his own past. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think one of the big things was like, well, what people were saying that why didn't he say that when he was alive? Why wait till now?
Well, two things. One, no, I understand, Cass. You're not wrong for saying that. First of all, when X was alive, while he was getting really big, he's not at the same level that he is now. And now that he passed, people refer to him as a legend and an icon, and they prop him up on the highest level imaginable. And I think it makes people more likely to be like, is this the person who we want to call legend? And all his fans get so angry and mobilized and come at you in your comments the second you say anything. Well, sorry, sometimes grown-ups have to say things like XXX was a really talented dude who had a lot of flaws. Those things just have to get talked about. They don't like it. They do not want to bring it up. And had he lived longer,
maybe he would have corrected some of those flaws.
Exactly, and you would have thought about some of the other things because he would have had a long life and an opportunity to do that, but sadly he didn't. So, I mean, listen, I haven't heard what Vic's line is yet, so it's hard for me to co-sign something until I hear what the line is, but I respect Vic for standing up for his convictions and not getting internet bullied into not believing it.
Who is Adam22, No Jumper? Who is that?
He's the No Jumper podcast is the biggest, it's arguably the biggest outlet for all the up-and-coming new artists.
So he breaks a lot of artists. He helps a lot of. And so he and Vic Mensa are going back and forth. Why does he care so much about XXX?
Well, he was a friend of his. He helped break him, et cetera, et cetera. Like he's definitively involved with that sort of artist. Why do I think he's doing it? I mean, I think he likes being in drama like this now. That has become his thing.
Because that gets the podcast numbers up.
Yeah, and ironically, he's accusing Vic Mensa of clout chasing when I think he's clout chasing by doing all of this and trying to be in the conversation.
And this dude, Adam22, he's been in this hip-hop thing for a while?
What's a while?
I don't know. A few years.
He's been doing the podcast for a few years.
Got it.
He didn't come
He's not a DJ or something, or a producer,
didn't come up
or
a hip-hop
something.
head. No. He listened to the podcast. He listened to Juan Epstein. He listened to Combat Jack. He got into it. He started doing a podcast, and he made his podcast based more on the young artists.
Got it. So he just saw an opportunity, seized the moment.
I can't. I know where you're going. I can't say
No,
that for sure.
where am I going? I've never I don't listen to podcasts.
No, I know, and you wouldn't enjoy it. Truth be told, it wouldn't be your speed. I think he cares about the artist that he promotes. I don't think. And
so he is a fan of the music for sure.
Yes, but I do think that he doesn't always act thoughtfully about where the music's going. He's thinking in the moment about what's hot right now. He's not thinking about that the things that he champions, what that means, and how much impact that has. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of these new personalities don't do that.
Well, I think that's the responsibility to hip hop and making sure there's checks and balances. That's a certain generation, and it's a certain type of person that wants to care for making sure that hip hop has balance. And that there's a conversation around the quality of music and not just because something's popular. Like, I come from that school where it's like, okay, this is popular. Maybe I got to play it on the radio. I don't necessarily like it, and I'm going to say something about it to make sure that we have a checks and balance.
Or I'm going to balance it out with a lot of other stuff that is different, of a different quality.
Right, but that's a certain type of person. We can't expect everybody to care about the culture because it's so popular now, right? Hip hop is so mainstream now that there will be people, and we were here in the 90s, right? How many things came along in the 90s, right, that were just like one-hit wonder, cheap.
Of course, we've always had that.
We've always had that in popular music, right? And it was the DJs, it was the people working for the magazines, and now it's the bloggers and et cetera, that want to continue to make sure that there's a checks and balance. That's why people come for me. They're like, yo, you talk all this talk, but how much you actually playing of it on the radio? That's part of the culture. You're supposed to come for me for that. You're supposed to be like, yo, what are you doing, though, to make sure that this cheap BS doesn't get furthered and we're not misrepresented to the world, right? But not everybody's going to care about that. And I never listened to Adam 22, No Jumper. I've never heard of it before, so I'm not hip.
Yeah, he has a lot of interviews with everyone. Every one of the new big artists, basically their first interview was with Adam. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much all of them. I did his podcast before. I went and talked hip-hop with him. But recently, if I'm being totally honest, I don't love the content that he's putting out there. I think there's a lot of...
Maybe you've outgrown him.
Well, I never was a target listener. I'm way too old for it. It's not for me. I don't need to sit and listen to guys while they're drinking lean and talking about... That's his podcast is where XXX went on there and talked about beating the ish out of a dude in prison who was gay. Like, it's just not for me. It's not targeted for me. But these days, my problem with a lot of the podcasts these days, and no, I am not talking about Joe Budden at all. Joe is quite the opposite. A lot of these new internet personalities, they just don't care about what the results are. They simply care about the YouTube hits. And they don't understand that is dangerous. It dilutes the culture. It makes the music worse. It actually hurts things. They don't get that. They really don't.
But you'd have to have long vision. You have to have some vision to see that.
And care. You'd have to, A, care about what the result is, and yes, B, have a little bit of long-term
And people
vision.
are trying to get a bag out here. And you know that on the internet and in the world, man.
Clicks is money.
You can't hate. You can't hate.
Yo,
you can't hate on getting the bag.
Yo, you know what the internet is right now? A few weeks ago, I saw a thing, and it was like Ninja. You know Ninja, the best video game player in the world? And I'm not dissing Ninja, by the way. This isn't his fault. But this just shows me what the internet is. Ninja pays tribute to Mac Miller. I clicked the video because I'm an idiot. It's him playing a game of Fortnite. And someone's like, yo, Mac Miller died. He's like, what? Word? Mac Miller died? And then you're watching this character just chop people. I'm like, this is not a tribute.
That's not a tribute.
Oh, my God.
This is the internet, bro.
I'm done.
This is where we at. This is really where we're at with it.